right, Savages, if you are ramping up in a new sales role, there's 5 things you need to do in order to set yourself up for success. I'm going to walk you through the 5, not only what to do, but how to do it quickly and efficiently, because when you sign that offer letter, you are already on the clock. And if you don't know this, on average, between 30 to 40% of sales reps turn over every single year on sales teams. So they're expecting a third of you to not work out. So if you don't want to be a part of that statistic, you need to pay attention. And I know this because I've hired and onboarded hundreds of sales reps throughout my career. I made the mistake of not following this path personally, and then I did this correctly after learning from my own mistakes, and it changed the game for me. So I wanted to help you. So what are the 5? We have ICP, we have industry, we have persona, we have USP, and we have solution. Okay, now let me walk through them in order. Number 1, ICP. You have to get clear on your ideal customer profile. Ideal customer profile means who's the perfect person for you to sell to. Most reps don't start here because they want to master the product, and that's literally the last thing to do. First thing you have to do is understand who are the people that we help. So what I want you to do in this instance is study your case studies, talk to customers, and that's going to help you understand what the perfect customer looks like. Because the reason why you need to know what your perfect customer looks like is I don't want you targeting people that aren't your perfect customer. Why would you make it harder on yourself to ramp up? If you want to get cute and target new industries and new types of customers for your company, do that once you're ramped up. Do that once you've mastered your existing role. Don't do that when you're just getting started. You're just going to set yourself up for failure. So that's number 1. Get clear on who your ideal customer profile is. Study the case studies. That's going to be big. Number 2, industry. You have to know what's going on outside the 4 walls of your customers.
I can gently tap the 4th wall too. The proposal.
Sales reps commonly make the mistake of thinking, well, the way I build a lot of rapport, the way I build a lot of trust, the way I'm seen as an expert in my accounts is because I know my product backwards and forwards. That's not true. And if that's how you think and that's how you act, that's a one-way ticket to only talking to people that are below the power line. If you want to talk to executives and you want to sell strategic transformational projects and you want to break into accounts consistently, you have to understand what's going on in their industry. Wayne Gretzky, the great one, famously said one of his secrets to success was he never skated to where the puck is. He always skated to where the puck is going. So if you can understand not only where the puck is for your ICP, but more importantly where it's going, and you can genuinely internalize that and communicate that to your executives in your accounts, that's going to help you effectively speak their language, and you're going to bring something of value to the table, because that's how you talk to executives. Executives like to learn. Executives like to be educated. So your ability to bring value to the table and educate them on where the puck is going, whether or not they work with you or not, that's going to help you have more conversations, break into more accounts. Okay, so study the trends. Google is your friend here. Talk to experts within your company to learn the top trends in the space. ChatGPT is actually really helpful here as well. You could just ask questions around, hey, if I'm a CFO in the manufacturing industry in 2024, what are the top trends I'm thinking about? Right, simple prompts like this can go a long way to help you ramp up your knowledge. That's number 2. Okay, ICP, then industry. Number 3, this is where you look at buyer persona. Buyer persona is important because these are the titles that you're actually going to be selling to. And let's say you're selling a widget that helps finance professionals in the organizations. Well, you're going to have like a controller, then you might have a CFO, right? Then you might have an analyst. Those are different personas that you're selling to, and each persona cares about different things. Generally speaking, the lower level of persona, the shorter time horizon they look at from a value perspective. If I'm a CFO, I'm not thinking about value I'm getting this week. I'm thinking about value I'm getting over the next 12, 24, 36 months. The bigger the company, the farther they think out. So identify the titles. So sit down when you're analyzing your customers, talking internally, figure out the top titles that you guys sell to for your given solution. And you want to build out like a matrix. You could do this in a simple Excel spreadsheet of what are their top pain points that they have individually. Then you look at how does your solution map to those pain points and what's the messaging that most resonates with them. Because if you're talking about, capabilities and features and functions, people above the power line aren't going to care about that. And then if you're thinking about, gaining market share, well, if I'm an analyst that's 3 years out of college, I'm not going to care about that either, right? So it's knowing the different personas, because that's going to help you adjust your messaging to them. So map that out, and that's going to be really, really helpful. Next, after you map out your buyer personas, you have to figure out your USP. And USP stands for your unique selling proposition. And your unique selling proposition is what is the unfair advantage that you have over the competition that you have in the landscape. And it's very rarely price. It's very rarely just one part of your features and functionality. It's usually a combination of things and how you package those things. Your unique selling proposition very well may be that you've been in the industry longer than everyone else. else. Your unique selling proposition very well may be you work with more Fortune 500 clients than any other competitor in the space. And if you could figure out what your USP is, and this is where you talk internally, number one, but then also talk to your customers, and I'll tell you what to ask them in a second. But once you can figure out what your USP is, then that's going to help you inform your messaging in a way that stacks the deck in your favor, okay? So when you're talking to your customers, if you have the ability to do this, highly recommend it. The question you want to ask them to figure out the USP is you say, hey, when you were evaluating us with the other competition that you're looking at, your XYZ company, what was the light bulb moment for you? What made you think, these are the partners for me? That light bulb moment that they have, that's gonna really shed light into the USP most of the time. And half the time it very well may shock you. And I know this because when I asked a customer of this, when I was a chief revenue officer of the last company I was at, and I was ramping up and just getting the lay of the land, when I talked to a customer and I asked that, they say, you know what, you guys were incredible during the onboarding process versus the other folks, their product's a little bit better than yours if I'm being transparent, but you guys are just better in terms of your execution. Like that's a USP, that's a unique selling proposition, is what your experience going to look like. So ask that question to your customers, and that's going to help you, okay? And last but not least, mastering your solution. Now, this is the thing where reps always start with. I always like to say it comes last, because without understanding your personas, without understanding the industry, without understanding the people that you're going to be trying to help, you're never going to be able to effectively master your solution because you don't have the context around it, okay? So when you think about mastering your solution, yes, you want to use the product if you can. My favorite way to really understand the value of my solution that it brings to my customers, outside of just understanding the features and functionality and how it checks the boxes, is I actually talk to customers again and I shadow them. If you can shadow a customer, ask your company to sponsor you going on site for a day with one of the top customers and shadow them using it, most companies will sponsor that. Even if they don't sponsor it, it's still a great investment of your own time and money, because by you seeing them using it, it's going to help you ramp up and really not just understand what the solution does, but more importantly, the nuances of how your end users and how your clients get value. So my advice to you is meet with customers and hear from their perspective, on top of studying the features and functionality, flashcards. That's a great way to do it. Test yourself, ask your manager to test you so you can get certified on it. All those things are going to help. Okay, so just to recap, if you're ramping up at a company and you want to get effective in a new role, 5 things. Number 1, okay, ICP. Number 2, industry. Number 3, persona. Number 4, USP. Number 5, master your solution. You do those things, you're going to be a part of the people that don't turn over year after year. Go kick some ass.